This video is totally different than the others I made until now with my application. Since I decided to share an 1-year trial version of the application for people to use, I decided to make a video about what people downloading the application should expect. I believe is fair because the download of the trial application is not free. It will be around €10 and I want people to know what they will receive in exchange of that amount. Although application has a lot of features and close to or more than 300 outcomes, this doesn't mean that all of them are working flawlessly and users will have an walk in the park while using the application. I suppose the walk on this road will be bumpy but meaningful. The video will show specific messages whenever the application will start with an empty database or database which is only specific object created inside this database, although the application expects all objects in place. Those messages can be ignored, or if you create all these objects, the messages will stop appearing. You might say that the developer should write code to check which features exist in the wizard and not even trying to retrieve data for features which have no metadata objects associated with it in the database. But the reason is that wizard feature is relatively new and user has an easy way to solve it: create entire metadata. The video uses for walkthrough a predefined set of features which I use the most and which people trying the application should try first before trying features which I developed throughout the years but they were not tested as much. If you will watch this video, you will see examples about what exactly I am speaking about. The application, once again, was created for working and consuming with small result sets when you compare them with result sets other professional tools can deal with. I am sure that with better coding I can increase my application threshold and responsivity, but as mentioned, the data we work with and usually the data monitoring tools is working with is small. They just accept bigger result sets, but this doesn't mean, especially when charting, they will display thousands of points if those points are overlapping or such. I don't know how each application improves speed and can chart hundreds of thousands of rows, but the answer lays usually in decreasing your work without affecting the final outcome. I chose for exemplification my repository table, which contains information about SQL Server instances and their information, which is around maybe 50 columns and 1423 rows. You will notice, at least I am noticing it when using my Azure VM, that data retrieval is fast. What is slow is displaying that information in the data grid. You will also notice that specific operations using this result set are normal while other operations are slower, while others might harm the user interface if not addressed by the developer somehow. As you can see till now, basic aggregation, filtering and charting for this result set is okay, and the DBA can do a lot of things with result set in a single user interface. Charting more and more columns, especially when choosing as x-axis a column with a lot of unique values, is increasing the CPU and application responsivity. I didn't show it here when charting the result set, but if you keep watching the video you will see the behavior when using the hierarchical feature of the application and the sunburst. Is it worth it to have an application that needs 2, 3, 4 seconds to provide the result when professional application seems to provide similar result in less than a second? I would say is worth it because if they were able to make the code faster, then it is not impossible for you to achieve better results too. Once again, you can see that although I mentioned in the text file that each sub-feature, for example charting type, has 1 to 20 actions, I never go on that path, but you can imagine those actions as being the ones in which users sort the columns of the charted data, using a different font or color for specific labels, increasing, decreasing the positions of X and Y axes, filtering of the result set, and so on. I believe although I made more than 180 videos from which maybe 10 covers the charting feature, I never used the filter section of the charting feature to test it to the maximum. I am saying this because people downloading the application might expect a flawless and error-free experience, and I want them to remember that the application is done by a non-developer in his free time, and I could cover as much, and not to mention that the application purpose was the source code and to prove that with perseverance a team can achieve a lot. So test the application while keeping in mind that I tried alone to build a basic analytic platform from ground with zero programming skills, zero insight on how to do it. I have never been employed as a developer throughout my career, but this didn't count because I wanted something that can help me to do my job better as a DBA, and I wanted to prove that you might be an average Joe, but you can still be able to create something. In a sense, if you want, you can see me trying to prove that everyone can code exactly as Cursor is proving to people that they can code. I don't have their success in advertising my GUI or their success in sales, but I share the same goal, which is showing people that to some extent you can do amazing things. Even if those things don't work flawlessly as you are about to see in the next minute, the solution is not to give up or to hide some shortcomings. The solution is to troubleshoot the issue, come with a solution and implement it. If an application, mine included, have some issues, this doesn't mean that the application is poorly written or not smart enough. It means only that the creator behind it wrote it with a specific input in mind and never even think to test it with a relatively bigger input to see the behavior and to implement some guardrails. I'm using this word because I see it used very often nowadays when it comes to AI agents. My character limit for subtitles is reaching, hence you can either keep watching the video and see what operations I advise people downloading the application do before grading the application or bashing it online. Before bashing an application, you need to understand who wrote it, when, how, why, what it was aiming with the application, what the application achieved to do okay and why not. The remaining of the video is worth your time to watch.